Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Marvin. If today is the first time of stopping by, you're most definitely welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you once again for stopping by. So I've been getting a lot of people asking me this question that, Marvin, is it possible I can pay my tuition fees by doing a part-time job here in Canada as an international student? So today I'm here to tackle that and then also share my opinion on that question. So stick and stay. So is it possible to pay your school fees or your tuition fees as an international student working a part-time job here in Canada? I would say yes, and then I would also say no. So first of all, I'm going to share my experience as to how I paid or how I'm still paying my school fees as an international student. And then afterwards, I'm going to touch on certain various factors, that can influence your judgment or as to whether it will be a yes or it will be a no. So first of all, sharing my experience. When I got my admission, my school fees, the total of my tuition fees for the 2 years was set at 25,560. If I'm right with the value, I'll just fix it somewhere on the screen. So, and then on my acceptance letter or my admission letter, the first year tuition I was supposed to pay about 21,292. Right, 21,292. But the way the school fees is structured here in Memorial for my program, there's a special fee of about 15,000 and something, right? Which you're supposed to pay within the first semester and then the second semester, right? So by the end of the second semester, you should be done paying that special fee, and the special fee has also been divided into two. So with the first semester, I was supposed to pay about 10,000 and a little coins, and then the second semester I was supposed to pay about 5,719 or so, if I'm right with the values, right? So yeah, that is how it has been divided for the special fee, right? So the total special fee was supposed to be 16,000 something. And then I'm supposed to pay that between or within the first semester and then the second semester. So in order to secure my seat when I got my admission, I was asked to pay 2,000 Canadian dollars. So I paid that before I even started applying for my visa or my study permit. So that $2,000 I paid as at the time I got my admission, it was going to actually reflect as part of my tuition fee. So at the end of the day, that 2,000 will form part of my tuition fee. So they were going to deduct that out of the totality of my tuition fees, right? So after I got my study permit and then before I came, I paid through Western Union. I think I paid around 16,000 Canadian dollars, right, before I came. So the plan was just to settle my special fee, which was the 10,000 something, and then the 5,700 I was supposed to pay, which was all supposed to be 16,000 Canadian dollars. So I paid that before I came in here, right? So yeah, and then after that, every semester I'll just have to be paying my tuition fee. So there's always a semester tuition fee you're supposed to pay. My program, apart from the special fee, my program comes with a tuition fee of 1,611 Canadian dollars, of which I'm supposed to pay every semester. But that 1,611 Canadian dollars, there will be like some add-ons, right? So you pay like a recreational fee, you pay student fee, dental insurance, all those things, all those small fees will be added to the 1,611. So at the end of the semester, I end up paying about 2,300 Canadian dollars as like my school fees, right? Aside the special fee I paid. So every semester I have to pay 2,300 as part of my fees. So that is how my school fees is structured. And with that, you are given the whole semester to pay that 2,300. So you can either be paying it in bits till the end of the semester, or when the semester is about ending, you can just pay all like in bulk, the 2,300. And if you are not able to pay that 2,300, you will not be able to register for the next semester's courses. So it's a must for you to be able to settle that semester fee, so that you'll be able to register for the next semester courses, right? So yeah, and the way it's structured, at the end of my program, it will all total, or it will give like a total of the amounts that was given in my acceptance letter, which is the 25,560, right? So that's the total cost of my program. So now the question I ask myself is, if that special fee, which was 16,000, wasn't paid before I came here, would I have been able to work a part-time job and pay off that money? Hell no, because that is too huge of an amount. And when I came in, we're only allowed to do 20 hours of work, right? 20 hours of part-time work. But along the line, in November of last year, the rules were changed, and then due to the shortage of the workforce in Canada, international students were allowed to work for 40 hours, or were allowed to work full-time. So depending on your strength, you can work as many hours as you want. So I started working full-time. Yeah, and even that, if I was even working full-time from September, there was no way I was going to pay off that special fee. There was no way I was going to pay off that special fee. But in terms of the semester fees, which is the semester tuition fees, which is the 2,300, I'm able to pay that amount of money, right? So it's like 4 months of work, and then I just try to save as much as I can, apart from paying my bills, to be able to pay off that 2,300. So in that way, I would say it's a yes, that you can work and pay off your semester fees, but it's a no if I'm supposed to pay like the full tuition amount, right, including the special fee. So yeah, this is my experience, or this is how I went about, or I'm still going about paying my school fees as an international student. Yeah, but in my school also, let me just point this out, that there are exceptions, right? Because not everybody has the kind of financial strength. So, and sometimes emergencies happen. So there are cases whereby you can always go to the cashier's office and then speak to them about it, and they try to structure it in such a way that you'll be able to pay off your school fees. So yeah, I've had cases like that whereby they are able to structure it that you pay off like in installments, right? So they'll make like a case for you, and then you'll be able to even without being able to pay off like all like the total amounts that you're supposed to pay at that instance or within that semester, they are able to restructure it for you that you pay in installments, and then you'll be able to register for the next semester's courses without paying off the whole amount within that semester. So that's also something that happens here in my school. So now, to tackle the factors that can influence you being able to pay off your school fees by working part-time here in Canada, the first thing I'll touch on is the kind of program you are coming to do, and then also the amount of school fees you are supposed to pay for that kind of program. Some programs are are ranked like up there, and they are expensive, right? Some programs are more expensive than others, and once you're coming to do like a master's degree in Canada, you should be ready to splash like from 18K upwards, right? From 18K upwards, depending on the number of years, it takes, maybe 1 year or 2 years. Some 1 year programs may be, cheaper as compared to like some 2 year programs, right? But in other cases too, 2 years gives you an enough time, to be able to pay off your school fees, right? Depending on the amount of school fees you are supposed to pay. So yeah, the kind of program you are coming to offer and the amount of school fees you are supposed to pay also counts. So this is also like a very huge factor as well. Yeah, and then I almost forgot this. Sometimes, depending on the kind of program you are doing, you may end up not taking courses during the spring summer semester, right? So what people normally do is they really work, full time during the spring summer period, to be able to gather a lot of money to be able to pay off the school fees when school reopens again. So that's the luxury some people have, but others, such as me, I don't have that luxury. So I'm still taking courses like during the spring summer semester. So that's also one trick people also use to be able to afford or pay some of their tuition fees as well. So the next factor also is how the school allows you to pay off your tuition fees. In certain schools that I know of, if you are coming to do like a 1 year program, they don't give you the luxury of time to pay just some before you start the program. So with some schools, you pay off like the full amount, because there have been like quite a number of stories whereby students are allowed to finish the program, and then at the end of the day they don't pay their tuition fees, and then it will be like a whole back and forth story. So in order to avoid that, the schools normally make sure that if you're coming to do a 1 year program, you pay off like maybe 80 to 100% of the school fees before you even start the program. So it depends on the school. Some schools will give you time to can even divide it into proper installments for you, so you'll be able to plan and then pay off like the school fees small or in bits. But some do not give you that chance or that luxury to be able to do that. So before you even apply to any school, you need to also be aware of those things as well. I mean, the school is there. You can always ask them questions. You can always email them or call their line as well. So always make sure you find out those details, right, before you even apply or before you even come to any school here in Canada as well. The next factor I'll also talk about is the province you are residing in. For example, the standard of living in Ontario and Vancouver is really high, right? So rent will be high, even though the minimum wage will also be, higher there as compared to, for instance, my province. But your living expenses or the standard of living is also high in terms of rent, groceries, getting little stuff. They'll also be very expensive. So assuming you're even getting, let's say, 2,500 Canadian dollars every month, you might end up paying rent for about $800,000-$900,000, for rent, and adding groceries, your phone plan, your bus pass, all those things. At the end of the day, you'll be left with nothing or close to nothing. So how then are you able to save and pay off your school fees, right? So that is also a very important factor to consider before coming to Canada. The last factor I'll touch on is the kind of job or the kind of part-time job you get whilst you are in Canada. So some of the part-time jobs pay more than others, right? So if the minimum wage is like, let's say 15 Canadian dollars in a particular province, there may be some jobs that can pay above 15. It's not a must that everybody pays 15. So there are certain jobs that can pay more than 15. You can even get some paying 20, 21. I mean, depending on the type of job it is, right? So if you are getting paid the minimum wage and somebody is getting paid more than the minimum wage, the person may get, more money to save as compared to like you being paid the minimum wage. Even though it's slim or it's tiny, right? The difference isn't much, but sometimes it can make a difference here and there as well. And some people also do multiple jobs. I mean, it's your strength. It's up to what you can take. People do like multiple jobs. Some people work part-time jobs during the night, and during the day, maybe if they have a car or something, they do delivery, like skip the dishes, DoorDash, Uber Eats, those kind of services, just to also make up for them to be able to pay their school fees. So, and it ends up bringing like a lot of stress on you if you are doing that kind of combination. But some people still do it, and then they still they are able to pay off some part of their school fees, or it helps them pay their fees as well. So yeah, the kind of job may also count to some extent. But if you ask me personally, that Marvin, what do you think is the best way to pay off your tuition fees as a student in Canada? What I always tell people is that make sure you have 60 to 70% of the money before you leave your home country. Why do I say this? If you have even 60% of the money, let's say you are supposed to pay 25,000 Canadian dollars. That is like the total amount of school fees you'll be paying for maybe 1 year or your 2 years being a student here in Canada. If you are paying 25,000 and before you come in, or as you are coming in with, let's say, 15,000 or 16,000, right? Once you have 16,000 and you come in, and within the first 2 months you start working, you can be saving towards paying the rest of the money, right? And I don't think the rest of the money will be paid in bulk, so you can be paying it like in bits or in pieces or in installments, any way that is acceptable by the school. So in that way, it makes more sense, and then it becomes easier for you. It doesn't put too much stress on you as well, because trust me, just education here and studying here it comes with its own stress. Like it's a whole hustling game altogether. So adding that to working it can be really, really tiring. So yeah, in order not to put like too much stress on an already stressed like situation, I always see that it's better to have some of the money, like majority of the money, maybe 60% or 65% of the money paid before you start your program. In that way, it becomes a little easy for you to move through the system smoothly. So this brings us to the end of today's video. I hope this video helps you to make a better judgment as to if you can pay your school fees as an international student or not. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share my videos as well. Thank you very much. See you soon.